How did it feel when September came along and you were not in the classroom anymore? How did that transition work for you? How are you feeling now? Do you regret it at all? Or do you think it was the right decision?
I think that's a really good question. I'm going to try not to be silly, if you know what I mean, because my gut reaction there was like, yeah, well, good.
Yeah, no. Let's be really serious. Like, honestly, I'm actually really interested to hear from you because we've spoken about it briefly, but I'm going to give the context briefly before you give your answer.
Do it.
For anyone listening now, Hayden taught for 10 years in primary school. I taught for 9 years in a primary school. And this September is the first year where we've not been in the classroom. So we don't have our own classes. We're not in school. We were part-time for a few years. We were full-time for most of our career. The first time now we've completely stepped out of it. What are your thoughts?
I was obviously, if you listen to this podcast a while, we talked a lot about the lead up to it, and we were worried. I think it's fair to say there were big parts of our brains where we're like, are we definitely making the right decision here? And I did feel like that all the way up to day one. And day one came along, and that sort of that first week in September finished. And I think my overwhelming filming, I should
I've
say.
lost the ability speaking to.
Hey, it's usually you. My overwhelming feeling was a sense of relief, and that sounds really mean, but relief for my mind in terms of I forgot how taxing on the mind being a teacher is. And if you're not a teacher, or listen to that thinking, oh, we bloody teachers always moaning. There is just something to be said about the fact that you just can't escape it. It's always in your mind. I'm always, at the weekend, I'm always thinking, have I planned everything for this week? Is everything ready? Like, it's just always there. And not having that in my mind was quite freeing, I must say. It's not like we're just doing nothing now, sat around all day filming podcasts.
No.
I mean, that's basically it, isn't it? Like, we were obviously busy all week with our other stuff, but there was just this like weight off my shoulders almost of, I can actually just not be constantly panicking about not having enough time. And I feel like that I had that in teaching regardless of whether we had other things going on or not.
I think the mental load relief is insane.
Yeah.
I think you absolutely just cannot fathom how much of a mental load you carry as a teacher until you stop doing it after. And I think I had a lot of people who I knew that had careers before teaching, who went into teaching and would look at us and be like, guys, you've got no idea. Yeah. This is not normal for a job. This is not a normal amount to carry in your mind. And you've got 32 children's lives almost at your fingertips of like keeping them safe, keeping them engaged, keeping them learning, etc. Looking after them, special educational needs is down to you as well. Like, there's so much on the teacher's mind that is so much extra to simply as well just planning good lessons and delivering them and assessing them, that you just can't fathom it. And I realized how incredibly stressful teaching is after having left it.
Yeah. Even when, I don't know about you, but I found it made me even realize that even the school holidays, even the summer holidays, which is the longest time off, it still felt different. It doesn't feel like that. Like when I was 3 weeks into the summer holidays, any previous year, thinking, this is as free as it gets, nothing to think about. It's not the same. I still felt more free than that because there is just something to say about that workload burden on your mind of teaching.
Yeah, it's coming around.
Yeah,
it's around the corner.
It's just there. That date's that September 1st is coming back, and every time you think about it, you're thinking of the 19 jobs you've got to do before you even start your first day working back on the job, because that is what teaching is: constant workload outside of work, so that you can get your work done in school. Yeah. It's just work, layers of it. So I do not regret it at all. And I was worried that I would. I genuinely was. Do I miss the kids? I still miss the kids exactly as much as I thought I'd miss the kids.
Yeah.
Like that is like, I can compartmentalize that feeling. But yeah, a very, very positive change. I'm glad we did it. Like, it was needed. We were getting to the point where it was like, we've got to prioritize something. We don't have enough time to do the things we want to do outside of school.
Exactly.
And school. And I'm pleased we made the change.
The biggest thing I notice is in the evenings, I don't feel like a zombie. Like, it's insane as well. When you do a day in the school, like, you get to the end of the day and you think, oh God, okay, right, I'm just going to sit down. And I don't feel like I can do anything else.
No.
Whereas now, this flexibility and this freedom, like, I feel like a human. I feel like a human at 6:30 in the evening, which I've spent my whole life not feeling like after a day of school. And I've done a day of work. This is what I can't get my head around. It's like, I've done a day of work. And I think it'd be interesting for people listening, actually, just very briefly, if we could just go through like what a week looks for us now. So I think a big thing for us is with teaching, obviously it's our absolute, it's our joy. It's what brought us pleasure. We absolutely love teaching children and helping them. And so, we still want to do that. We're still in education. So for example, we block out a day for podcasts now.
Yep.
we'll film the main podcast and we'll film the Q&A, and we'll do this, and then we might think about some content for online, etc., and what we can do on our socials. And then for another day we'll be thinking, cool, well, we've got our tutoring business now. We work with teachers still, some of our good friends who we've known since the start of our career. You know, I always think to the fact that the person who literally trained me now works with me in our tutoring company and is a big part of what we do, and I love that. I love that idea of working with teaching staff. We still deliver like lessons to children. We're making content and videos for children to watch and improve their maths and their English. So we're still getting that teaching fix.
Yeah.
And I think what's really important, and we can just kind of, you know, just flirt this idea out there right now, is we're also working on something for schools to use with maths. And maths is our passion. It's our joy. It's what I love. It's what I think I'm good at. And we're working on something that can hopefully help thousands of children. And this idea of being able to unlock, you know, brilliant, this bond you have with your class is special, and nothing will replace that. But at the very least, if I'm not doing that anymore, I can now be working on something else where I can hopefully have an impact on 100, 1,000 times more children whilst doing what I love, and not having a brain full of fuzz and just 67 jobs I've been told I've got to do by the end of the day, which I just can't do. It's so freeing. And I think, to answer the question, I think it's the best decision we've made, which is sad at the same time, because I wish it wasn't the best decision I made. I wish I could be teaching until I retire and it'd be realistic, but the job's insane now. It's just insane. And I think you can get a lot of the good parts of the job in other avenues, which is not necessarily a good thing for our society. People like us should be teachers. We should be teachers, and it's sad that it's got to the point where 40,000 of us leave every year because it's just completely broken. So I'm relieved. I'm happy. On a personal note, I think it's the best thing we've done, but I'm sad that that's the case.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel exactly the same. But I think the sad thing is really important, because I don't want anyone thinking, oh, they just don't care anymore, they're gone. No, I care a lot, actually. Like, I don't think I'll be able to replace the love for teaching I had when I loved teaching the most in my career, whenever that was, maybe a couple of years in, when I'm still in that honeymoon period. And maybe even compared to other people who say, yeah, back in the 90s, like, I was my time that I loved teaching so much, and it's just not the same anymore. It's a shame. It shouldn't be that way. People should want to be teachers for their whole career. And I honestly don't know anyone that does. I genuinely don't know any teacher who would say to me, yeah, I'm buzzing to do this till I retire. They're all saying, oh no, this is completely unsustainable. I will not be able to do this until I retire. That is not a conversation that should be had from teachers.